Welcome here on today's episode, barbecue sauce.
I'm Kevin Funk. Join me as I share my love of all things food and a passion for the outdoors.
Now this is a homemade barbecue sauce. We've got a whole host of ingredients here, but it's very simple, fairly quick. All you're gonna need is a blender, a pan, and a source of heat. All right, so we're gonna begin by taking a 1/4 cup of butter. Seems like a lot because it is. And we're gonna add it to our pan. I like to have my butter browned, just adds a whole different level of flavor to it. But feel free, once that butter is melted, you don't have to take it that far, you can just get the onions in there. So we're gonna chop up some onions. Doesn't need to be super neat with this because they are gonna all end up in the blender. But we're gonna get some onions and garlic in there. So I've got one yellow onion, I've cut it in half, cut the root and the end off, and now we're just gonna slice it up. Rough chop. Don't need to be perfect little diced pieces here. Just get them small. And we're gonna cook those until translucent. And we wanna wait a little bit here before we put the garlic in. Garlic burns quicker than onions, so we're just gonna let those cook a little bit before we add this. But in the meantime, we'll dice them up. Same thing here, you don't need to be crazy. So just put the garlic cloves on there and just give them a chop. We're gonna stir that around. All right, so the next step, once our onions are translucent and our garlic and the onions are cooked through, we're gonna add some salt and pepper. Roughly a teaspoon there. And now we're gonna do some pepper. We're gonna grind up our own here. You want to make sure you grind those all the way because you can throw them in there. Even a Vitamix, sometimes if you don't have it in there long enough, you'll miss them and you're going to get whole peppercorns in there and nobody wants to bite into that. Add that in there, about a teaspoon. All right, so the next step is we're going to add some lemon. So we're going to juice this entire lemon. So we're going to cut it in half and we're just going to use our fingers so the seeds don't drop in and just squeeze it in. Give it a stir. All right, so we're actually going with 2 acids in this one. We got apple cider vinegar. So we're gonna add roughly a 1/4 cup of this as well. We're gonna add roughly 2 cups of ketchup. Now at this point, we're gonna add some Worcestershire. Continue to stir. And now, this stuff is awesome. It's liquid smoke. You don't need it. You can do this recipe without it. I just love the flavor it brings to it. Add about a teaspoon of that. All right, so we got some molasses here. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of molasses. All right, now we got 153 milliliters, I believe 156 milliliters of tomato paste. This is gonna follow it in and go right in. Paprika and chili powder. We got about a tablespoon of each, and they're just gonna go right into that. Now, if you wanted a little bit spicier, cayenne pepper. I like spice, so we're gonna add in there about a teaspoon as well. We're gonna stir that in. All right, so our last ingredient is roughly a 1/4 cup of golden sugar. You can do brown sugar, whatever you have. Throw it in there. Now this is a sweet barbecue sauce, but if you want it even sweeter, add some honey or some maple syrup. This is a base for barbecue sauce. You can take this in many directions. Add some hot peppers because it's all gonna get blended up anyway. If you want this super hot, add some habaneros in there, jalapenos. Give that a stir, and now I'm gonna let that sit on simmer for 10 minutes, and she'll be good to go into the blender. It's time to go in our Vitamix here and make this thing super smooth, and pour it right in. Start it on low, slowly speed it up. we got our nice, smooth, homemade barbecue sauce. We got our homemade barbecue sauce here. We've poured it into a bowl here, and now we're gonna add some chicken to it. This barbecue sauce goes great with brisket, ribs, chicken, virtually any meat. But chicken is my favorite. See you in the next video.
Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to hit that subscribe button.
Chicken is my favorite. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video. Don't work? I didn't like it as much.